Hey everyone, welcome to the Cilia show. Today, do you remember this beautiful lady who came on a few episodes before? It's Kissy, looking gorgeous as always, the goddess. Thank you for coming on. She's getting shy. So I wanted you to come on because, I'm big about self-love and all of that, and I've seen your glow up basically. Like you, not that you was not beautiful, but you just. This sexy essence of yours is just more as all these years I've known you. So I want to talk about your self-love journey.
Okay.
So we met. So let's talk about how we met. We met around... Oh, by the way, just for those who don't know who Kissy is, introduce yourself, sorry.
Okay. Hi guys, I'm Kissy. I'm 32. I'm an Aries. And as I said in the last couple episodes, right? Like I am a dancer, but I also have a corporate job. But yeah, that's me in a roundabout way.
Yeah. So me and Kissy, we met through dance. She was actually the first dance friend, first person. So my very first dance class, I went there, and she immediately, the way you greeted me, you made me feel welcomed and like as if I knew you already, like you've seen me already, like before, like, oh hey baby, like because you're very affectionate, you're like, did this, I'm like, oh, like oh, she made me feel so welcome, like that. Like you made my first class feel like it was my 10th class basically. So I remember that. And then but we never actually spoke,
like got
close or anything like that. So I just put up a bit. And
shit, why did it drop?
So and then it was only like just after lockdown, isn't it? Just after lockdown, because remember there was lockdown, and afterwards we had
kind of like 2021 times.
Yeah, more gotten closer, more because we bonded
over men. Yeah, no, it was 2020 because the same time.
Yes. I was telling you about
somebody.
Jay. Let's just say Jay. Yeah.
And I was telling her about tea.
Yeah. Oh my God.
What a mess.
Yeah. And then I remember
self-love is dropping them.
Yeah. And I remember like you came to my gym at the time that I used to work at, that old gym, and because we was on this dance program together, mentoring program, and you came over to rehearse together, and then before the rehearsal, I was like showing the text messages, remember, and I was like, I blocked this guy basically, and he was like, Cilia,
why you do that?
Yeah, you are so naughty. This guy has done nothing to you, and you blocked this guy, and you unblocked him for me. I remember there and there. I remember. That's fine. So so that's how it all started, and then the rest is history.
Cute.
There's a little love story. So let's. I want to talk about your self-love journey, how it's all started. So before, so I never knew what self-love was. I always thought it was like paint my nails, get my hair done. What about you?
I think for me, self-love was very surface-based because I think it's easy to say, I love myself, I value myself as a woman, I know what I'm worth. It's like really easy to say that, but when it comes to the doing and the showing and demonstrating it like outwards, it doesn't always really show. So sometimes it's like the words not matching the actions. So for me, the same. Like I definitely was like, I love myself, I think I'm a queen, I deserve to be treated well. And then I'm engaging in situations where I'm not being treated well. And that's also, it's not just about men, because I think sometimes people think self-love and they think it's all in relation to men, but it's men, it's friendships, it's career, it's just what you want for yourself and what you want in life. So that's even with family. So when I met you, how was the self-love journey? Was that when you... Do you know what? It was okay. I think as you get older, like you learn more, and it's through different experiences that you have different opportunities to love yourself deeper. So, like people say, oh, I fall in love with my partner every day. I always say like the love you give out to other people is the love you should be giving to yourself. So the same way you can fall deeper in love with your partner, you can fall deeper in love with yourself. So you can show up for yourself even more than you did 2 years ago. You can want more for yourself. You can like put different boundaries in place, and those are all acts of love. So the same way that like you'll protect your partner, you'll protect your friends and all of that stuff, you can start to show up for yourself even deeper. So yeah, I would say like my self-love journey started in 2015. So that's when I realized I didn't love myself, and it did come out of a situation with a guy. I think again I was very much so like I love myself, etc., etc. And then I was in a situation with a guy where, you know, he didn't want to be serious with me. Like it was just like vibes. And I was like, but I want to be your girlfriend. I really like you. And I just realized I was engaging in a situation that didn't make me feel good. I even contemplated like plastic surgery. Yeah, like, because I just kept comparing myself to the girls he seemed more interested in. Yeah. So, like, I literally went to the consultation and everything. Yeah. And I just
What do you want to get done?
My nose. I'm still kind of insecure about my nose, to be fair, guys. But that's what I mean about self-love. Like, I've learned to be like, you know what? Yeah, this is my nose. I'm still beautiful. Do you know what I mean? I have scars. Like, I'm like, okay, these are the scars. I didn't put them there on purpose. Do you know what I mean? So it's like I have to learn to love these things in spite of maybe society saying this isn't that cute or you could be prettier. So I guess, again, I thought if I was prettier, he would want me. And that may have been the case, but it doesn't matter. Like that's not what my focus should be. So it was from there. Like I remember I got a book by Alex L, Love in My Language, and I don't know why, but just that book really shook me.
What was it about?
So it is about that, like self-love, about love in general. Like it's pieces of poetry basically, but just the way she spoke about love and the way she spoke about herself and uncovering like her heart and how she loves people and how she can show up for herself, I was like, so that made me realize, okay, actually there's something to be done here. I don't know what it is, but there's something to be done here. So 2015 was the start, and like I said, I've been growing deeper in love with myself.
It's like the journey, like whether it's self-love or healing, whatever journey it is, it's always bumps on the way, and you think, like you said in the beginning, it's easy to say, I love myself, like that, but on the way, the more you experience, you realize actually it's not as simple, as straightforward as it is saying I can easily just say I love myself, but then there's stuff, for example, one, if you haven't, I see it as building a foundation sort of thing, if that makes sense. For example, I can say I love myself, I'm a queen, but then like you said, you like engage with a toxic guy, for example, he could easily destroy you if you're not strong enough, and you don't actually have that foundation of strong self-love, then that person can actually destroy you and make you feel insecure. Yeah,
exactly. I agree.
For me, you know what, my self-love journey didn't start until 2020. That late, so and then and it actually grew like quite a lot. I think lockdown helped me a lot.
Yes.
But I didn't discover self-love until like 2020. I didn't know what it was at all. Okay. Like I said in the beginning. And the book that I read, can you believe this? Is no, why am I saying can you believe this? This is a good book. You know who she is, Nafisa.
Nafisa's book.
Yeah, chapter 30. Chapter 30.
Unapologetic, babe. Period.
Yeah. And then it was her book for some reason, and I just came out of a relationship, and the thing is, this relationship wasn't even like a situation. It was like some guy I was dealing with, and it wasn't nothing. Anyway, basically, I was dealing with this guy for a whole year. This was the guy, he was straight after my 9-year relationship, and I went straight to him. He was basically, I mentioned him before in my other podcast, he was sort of like a drug dealer. Toxic relationship.
I told you about those.
Yeah, and then I left him. That's when I was. After leaving him,
the fact that she's actually dropped a drug deal.
And then when I left it, I was like all over the place. I was like, I was actually addicted to it. I wanted his energy. I was addicted to, and I didn't want to let go. And he wouldn't leave me alone. He was literally. It took 6 months for him to leave me alone. Wow. And then because every time he'd come back to me, I'd be like, I'm still going back and forth. I was still FaceTiming, and when he FaceTimed me, I will answer it, and I liked the attention. He was chasing me, blah blah blah. But then somehow, I can't remember how I came across Nafisa's book, but I know she's always been promoting it. And then I can't remember what it was, but I decided I'm going to buy it. And I bought it and I read it. And I was like, damn. That's a nice...
It shook you?
Yeah, and then there's something about it. And then after, that's how it all started. But it wasn't... The self-love journey hasn't been easy. Like, realised, like, actually, you know what? Sometimes, yeah, for example, like Jay, everyone that you meet along the way will make you realise you don't love yourself enough. You can
show up for yourself
even more. Exactly, yeah.
Because I think recently I was talking about how easy it is for me now to show myself love and show myself worth when it comes to men. I think because you learn from certain experiences, you now get what you need to do. But I find it harder to do that with friends, or a lot of people will say, oh, it's easy to cut off men or cut off friends, but when it comes to family, it's hard.
Yeah,
it may be, but the thing is, again, it's still another opportunity to demonstrate to yourself that you deserve more and you deserve peace. Because if your family are demonstrating the same toxic patterns or behaviors that make you feel worthless, that make you feel insecure consistently, by the way, like you're literally on edge, your nervous system is a mess, and you say, I have to stay in this situation because of my family, their blood, what you're telling yourself subconsciously is this is what you deserve then. Like, you should stay in this situation because this is what you're worth.
Yeah.
So it's like, just because you demonstrate your worth in other areas, the same thing with career. I'm miserable in my career, but I'm too scared to take a risk. So what you're telling yourself is you don't believe in yourself enough. So again, I always say again, I'm repeating myself, but it is about the love that you give to someone else. When your younger sister comes to you or your child comes to you, what do you tell them? How do you love them? How do you show up for them? Even the way you protect people ferociously.
Yeah.
I've literally only ever been in 2 physical fights in my life. Was it about me? No, it was my friends. I'm like, you're coming for my friend? You crazy? But me, I'm like, oh, that's okay. Let's let it go. It's okay. Peace, vibes, love. No, if I show up for my friends so ferociously, why the hell do I not show up for me like that?
I have a similar analogy, which is with babies. So like, some people say, okay, what exactly is self-love? So I say, for example, when you love something, what would you do with it? So it says, for example, if it's a baby, you'll be gentle. You'll be showing it's love, like that,
Compassion.
Right? Compassion, exactly. So I see that as, you know what, treat yourself as the baby, like be gentle, don't judge yourself, like have compassion for yourself, accept, because like a baby's so innocent, regardless, you'll be like, oh, it's so cute, you love it, whether I don't know, however the baby looks, you know, whether the nose or the eyes or lip or whatever, you still would accept it because you just love the baby.
Oh
so
my God.
yeah.
Yes. And I like literally what that triggered in me is bad self-talk. So if a baby or a child does something, or again, going back to your friends, whoever, if they've made a mistake, more times you hit them with, okay, this isn't quite right. This is where you went wrong. However, you know, we can learn from this, darling. Like, it's okay. You're going to be okay. Whereas with ourselves, I don't know about anybody else, but I might be like, you're so stupid, Kissy. That's what I used to be like, you're so
easy.
dumb.
Yeah, we're so easy to do things like that, right? And also another thing is our body, our brain, we don't know the difference between whether it's the joke or it's for real. So that's why be careful with what you say to yourself, because you're sort of like reprogramming your brain to think, oh man, I'm so dumb in it. Like, even if, for example, like, say joke. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I even catch myself joking, calling myself, oh God, I'm not typical Chinese. I'm so dumb. I'm not good at math. But then I'm like, no, snap it back.
Correct.
Yeah.
Things
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's so important. Like, because the thing is, we are so lucky to be able to see all the tools that we have now that are available to us. Like, literally, you go on Instagram and you can see some tools now. You need to be able to differentiate between when people are doing too much, because not everything is trauma and not everything is gaslighting and all of those things. However, this information that we now have, we are able to be like, actually, I shouldn't be talking to myself like that. Like, I literally will say something bad about myself and be like, oh, God forbid.
Yeah.
You know, and then I'll say something positive. And again, it's not as easy as just saying, I am magnificent, I am amazing. Like, you do have to believe what you're saying. I think it's quite difficult because, again, with affirmations, if you don't believe what you're saying, it's not going to work and it's not going to transform, you know, how you're really feeling and, you know, your neural pathways that you've embedded into yourself for years and years. But you do have to start somewhere. So start with something. It doesn't matter. Like, speak on your head, wake up in the morning and just like affirm yourself. Be kind to yourself, you know?
So for me, for example, like talking about affirmation, for example, right? You gotta say it as like you believe in it. So one thing is, I don't know if you noticed, but when you first met, the difference between when you first met me to now. But anyway, so I think from 2020, probably 2020, when I first started discovering self-love, I was like, I said to myself, I am sexy. And when I started believing that, I actually, and more people started saying like, you're actually really sexy. When women come up to me, you're sexy as fuck, like that.
Yes, and I love that.
Yeah, so, and I do believe, so yeah, like you said, when you start saying things that you believe as affirmation, and you say it and you believe in it, you sort of like emit that energy, and people will see it as well.
I think you also give yourself permission to be that. So where you've never seen yourself as sexy, when you're affirming yourself as sexy, and you're saying it positively, because there's lots of connotations with sexiness and all of that stuff. When you say, no, being sexy is amazing, and I can be the sexy that I want to be, and it's fine. Like, if you don't like it, okay. Yeah. I don't care. Yeah. It's about me. It's your life.
This is where basically also me being, my tagline was, well, it's not my tagline, but something I always say, be your true authentic self. Don't dim your light for nobody. You know?
And she really is. Can we just have a moment here for this one? Literally, like, I think what I'm going to compare you to is Keke Palmer.
Oh.
I think Keke Palmer and Cilia, they're just so free with who they are. And it's like, this is me. So someone's like, oh, you're doing this, you're trying this, you're trying. Cilia's like, yeah, I'm trying this and I'm doing this and I'm going to start this because I've got a song in my spirit and I want to share it. And you don't see that too much. Like, that's the thing. Like, she really puts herself out there, and like, that's really inspiring to me. Like, she's able to just be like on her own, just a wolf doing her thing, and then, you know, the pack gonna find her, and she's like, great, I was waiting for you guys to keep up, to catch up. Do you know what I mean? So I always think it's super inspiring when I see women just doing them, because it means that you've grasped that the concept of life is one time and it's short. Yeah. So if you spend time being like, oh, I can't do this because of this, or I'm not qualified, or people are going to judge me, or whatever, you are literally not living your life. And then before you know it, you've woken up and you wish you were doing the things that you wanted to do. And also, I think that's also how it breeds resentment and bitterness, because what you find is when people are looking at other people and judging other people, it's because they wish they could do what that other person is doing. And genuinely, that sounds so cliche, but it's actually true. If you have time to be like, this person's doing this person's doing that. If you actually sit down, it's like, are you happy in all areas of your life? More times, you're not going to meet one person that says, yeah, I am, but they're hating.
Yeah. And then I don't know if you've seen this reel about Priyanka Chopra. She said in her interview, bold girls makes history.
Oh, yes. I think you reposted that.
I made that into a reel as well. Yeah. And I said, yeah, because this is basically saying what you basically piggyback on what you just said. If you take risk and have no fear of people judging or whether you're not good enough or all that kind of stuff, then you're going to get the stuff done. You know what I mean? Basically, if you really want something, go get it. You can definitely do it. Well, it's the doing bit that's the win. Even if it's a failure, it fails, it's still a win because you did it. You took the initiative to make it happen. So, for example, I did this podcast. Originally, I was thinking, oh, shall I do it? Who am I to speak? Can I do it? I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it, let me just do it. If it's not a success, then I just stop doing it. At least I know I've tried. And then the rebrand of this podcast, literally, don't get me wrong, it was scary because I spent a lot of money on it. And I just had this vision. I was like, you know what? At least I know if I go all out, I know I've gone all out. Yeah. I don't want to have no what ifs. Do you know what I mean? That's another thing. I live my life with I don't want to have no ifs, what ifs. I just go for it. So, oh, by the way, the dance in the promo video and the introduction of this podcast is choreographed by Kissy.
Thank you, baby.
Yeah. So, but yeah, let's move on a little bit. I want to talk about what sort of self-love practices self-love stuff that you would do, tips and things like that.
Yeah, okay. Because it's so funny you were talking, so we're in sync energetically. Yeah. Because I was going to talk about the deeper levels of self-love, which is going back and reprogramming and facing some of the shit that you went through in your childhood. Like, guys, you need to do it because it's going to show up one way or another. And I am sat here as a hypocrite because I am a girl with daddy issues. And I've tackled it here and there.
Yeah. You know what? And I love this. I said this to you before. And although you did put it on the close friend story. But however, I said to you, I'm so proud of you for even being open to even actually just share it, even though it's just a close friend group, because not everyone needs to know. Yeah, it's true. But I was just like, that's so bold for you to actually acknowledge, admit, yep, I've got this issue and I'm addressing it like that. And I think that's big. Yeah.
This is why I don't want to cry face. But yeah, so it's things like that, like being honest and open with yourself, like just to touch on that really briefly. So I'm being bold and sharing it here on this platform. So like my relationship with my dad isn't what I would like it to be. And I think I just acknowledge like the ways that my inner child still hopes that he's like, that's my baby. She's so cool. She's this, that, and the third. I'm so proud of her. Do you know what I mean? So when I get like little moments where he does say stuff about like my dance and stuff, the inner child in me is like, ah! But then my older self realizes I'm still disappointed with the way that he didn't, in my view, show up for me, you know? And it's things like that that I still need to face. I do things here and there, like I journal on it here and there. And then I'm like, this is too heavy. I'll be watching a sermon and then like we'll get to the chapter where they're like, about fathers. And I'm like, I'm turning this off. So I feel like it's about getting into yourself and sitting with yourself, and whether that's journaling, meditating, praying, just sit with yourself and feel what comes up. And when you realize like the points that come up, shadow work is a really amazing thing. Like when you realize the points that you are kind of not healed from, or you haven't even touched the surface of, it's facing the stuff that you do not want to face. So that's number one. Number two, take control of your mind. That's really, really hard. And sometimes for me, I make it as simple as, Kissy, stop that. So that's me when I start overthinking. I'm like, what does this person think of me? Can I do this? Am I able to do this? This person said this about me. Let me say the statement that I don't know where I got it from. It may have been a Disney movie. No one can make you into something that you are not. So I think a lot of the times we fret over what someone has said about us or our reputation. This is defamation of character. And don't get me wrong, you can tickle me with that. I will really be like, I'm not this person. How can you say this about me? Why are you lying? Etc., etc. What do you say about yourself? Like you have to actually sit and say, do you know what? I don't actually need to appease to anyone else's view of me. I don't need to people please to control their narratives. I just need to sit with who I am and be happy with who I am, because we do create our own reality.
Yep.
God and the universe, whoever you believe in, you know, but you do create your reality. You can put golden, sparkly barbed wire around your life. Yeah. And then what you allow into that.
Boundaries, basically.
Boundaries. Yeah. What you allow into that. Exactly. So let's tie that in like with tip number 3. Boundaries. Yeah. Like once you have that, honestly, your life is going to be a lot more sweeter. And boundaries are not saying to somebody, no, I can't come 5 minutes before you're supposed to meet up, and then giving them no explanation, and everyone says that that's okay. No, it's not okay, guys. Okay, don't care what Instagram says. Tell them, oh, sorry, I'm not really feeling up to it anymore. Like, if you don't want to divulge all of the information, fair enough, but I do think you owe some people consideration. Anyways, although self-care isn't self-love, I do think showing yourself some loving
like physically, like caressing and stuff. Like when
lotion. Take your time when you're lotioning.
Exactly.
Lotion in the mirror.
Yeah, like when you, I said this before. I don't know if you heard me saying, like when you like put cream on your body, you do it with intention. Or obviously sometimes we forget, but getting ready quick. But sometimes if you have the time after come out of the shower, I should do this like once. I probably should do more often, but there are times where I've been put this song called "Love on My Body" by Londrell.
Oh, that sounds beautiful.
And I freaking love that song. And then as I'm putting this cream, this like shea butter, just like
shea butter, baby,
like that. And so yeah, that kind of. I think that
beautiful.
also helps with the mind. I think it actually makes you feel like, I feel good about myself.
Yes, it's a moment of appreciation. And again, going back to how do you show love to other people? Sometimes it's not just words and all of that stuff. Sometimes you treat them to a nice dinner. So why don't you treat yourself to a nice dinner? Period. Why don't you treat yourself to a bubble bath? Why don't you treat yourself to a nice home cooked meal? Like,
have you been on a been on a date with
solo date? I went when I went on my first solo trip, I took myself on like dates. I went to Amsterdam. It's my favorite place, one of my favorite places, and I was like, oh, I'm so cute. I got to be a fussy little eater by myself, like yay, I love this. What about you?
Yeah, of course. I've been on my solo trips. Like I've got my third one, although I haven't been a lot, but my third one's coming up next a week and a bit. Dates, you know what, I haven't taken myself on dates enough. Probably should do that more, actually. Dress up and probably actually go to I haven't done that enough.
I mean, you can pick up some people doing that. Don't worry, sorry, I didn't mean to say that online. You know, lots of people, they go out by themselves to hook men with bank.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the way you said dress up, like, I'm thinking...
Because why not dress up for yourself? Romance yourself. Yeah, exactly, like that. Yeah, so that I haven't done actually, but I've been solo trip. When I went away, I did dress up to go to the restaurant when I was away.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I count that as a solo date.
Yeah, okay, but just not here in the UK.
Yeah,
because I think when you're at home, you're just like, you don't think about it. You're just like,
same.
But don't get me wrong, I've sat in a restaurant by myself before, like for lunch and dinner, but just not make it into
romancing
more like
yourself here.
Exactly. Yeah. I've always done it since young. I've always done it.
Yeah,
I've loved it.
Love that.
I love people watching and just. So I've been to cinema by myself.
Same. Multiple times. Like someone wanted to come with me. I'm like, no, I want to go alone.
For me, it's more like, because they want to watch a different film. I was like, okay, I'll watch this one by myself. Then.
I mean, that's very like you though. That's very you.
Yeah.
I think something you said about dressing up for yourself. This is actually something I always put on my Instagram story.
Yeah.
Lingerie.
Oh yes.
Nightwear.
This woman here, this sexy lady, right? She's not just sexy here. She's even sexy for herself at home, like when she's by herself, like lingerie at home, and she puts it on the story. I'm just like, I like that. I think it's because I live with my parents right now. Oh, yeah. I can't do that.
Yeah,
but if you were home,
if
I'm home, I'm inspired by that. I've been thinking, if I live by myself, I'd 100% be wearing it all the time.
And genuinely, guys, it's not for anyone else. Like, one of my closest friends, I'll FaceTime her and she's like, are you here to seduce me? Like, what's going on? And I'm like, this is my nightwear. Like, so literally sometimes, you know, if I'm seeing someone and they're like, oh, you wear this for me? I'm like, no, I wear this all the time. Yeah. And genuinely, it just makes me feel good. Like, I feel pretty. I feel happy. Like, I sleep in sexy outfits for myself. I dance in the mirror. So dance is a big thing. I dance in the mirror for myself. And that's literally affirming yourself. Like, because then you get out into dating or whatever you do in life. And maybe someone tries to tell you you're not attractive. You're not this, that, and the third. You've built that up within yourself. Yeah. You are aware of your power yourself. So I don't need you to tell me what I am. Like I said, like I know what I am.
So that's what I'm saying. It's going back to like in the beginning when I said beginning of this episode, I was saying that self-love easy. I think I'm beautiful, blah blah. But just one person, if you don't have that foundation, it's not strong enough. And that's not one person can tell you, oh, have you ever thought about doing this? That could destroy you. But once you build that strong foundation, you know you're beautiful. You don't need that validation. No one can destroy you. So basically, this guy, he was like to me, how do you feel about dating black guys who are normally used to thicker girls? And
why would he say that to you?
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, when he said that to me, he goes to me, I'm going to ask you a question, but I already know what you're going to say. But how do you feel, like that? And I said to him, nothing. I just nothing. I said, first of all, I said, when I go to a club, I'm not going to lie, I'm here having a good time. These guys just move to me. So
they obviously like what they see.
Exactly. I said this one thing. And also to the ladies as well, you don't need to be everyone's cup of tea. That's one, and I think also this like body trend thing is so toxic that a lot of girls think, oh, I need to look a certain way for guys to like me, you know. So just appreciate however you look, embrace your flaws, your body, however, whether you're thick or thin, whatever size, however you look. There's always gonna someone that gonna, not that you need someone to like you, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like just embrace and accept who you are. And so when he asked me that, I was just like straight. I was like, nothing. I don't feel. I said, and I don't feel any weird way at all. And I said, if anything, I said, no one can destroy my confidence. I was that confident. I said to him, I'm so confident with myself that no one can destroy me.
Period. And I feel like, again, another act of self-love is putting yourself in the spaces where you feel valued. And I've done it a lot. Like, I'll put myself in spaces. And again, this is not just with men. It's friendships, it's communities, all of this stuff where I don't necessarily feel valued. I don't necessarily feel seen or feel my best self. But I'm like, oh, you know what? Well, I'm here for another reason. Like, I just want to show love to these people or support these people or whatever. But it's like, how do you feel in these spaces? So with the whole, how do you feel about guys, et cetera, et cetera. I always say to guys, like, if I'm not a bit of you, just let me know.
Yeah.
And you can go over there, because I am someone's a whole lot of them. So if you're hanging around a guy where you're actually not a bit of them for whatever reason, they like them thicker, they like them a different complexion, different race, whatever, then you are going to feel a little bit inadequate because they want something else. They want something different, but they're hanging around you for whatever reason. And it's like, baby, you don't have to be here, and neither do I. And I think when you stay in those situations, you're actually, even though it's like you can have strong self-esteem, self-worth, all of that, it will slowly chip away at you. So another ultimate act of self-love is walking away from those situations. You should be in situations where you feel celebrated and things like that. And you should also be able to deal with situations where you're not everyone's cup of tea. And I just want to say, Thich Nhat Hanh is one of my favorite authors. And something that he said was like, I can't quote it word for word, but something he said is the concept of you shouldn't take in all the bad things that people say about you, but you also shouldn't take in all the good. You shouldn't just be relying on someone else's opinion of you, because then it's so easy to be a flipping ass bitch. Sorry, Beyonce, I messed that up, but you know what I mean. It means that someone can pull you down with their words, but then they can also uplift you with your words. And that's also how you end up in toxic situations, because like someone's doing things to you that's dragging you down. Maybe you confront them about it, and then they're like, no, you know I love you. I think you're amazing. I think you're everything. Oh, okay, my nervous system is calm again. Like when you take the good as well, it's literally, that's how easy it is for you to feel better. And I still battle with that. Like sometimes when I think I've upset someone, I'll be anxious about it. I can't sleep. The second they say, oh no, babe, I'm not upset. So glad. Do you know what I mean? And that's really, really bad, you guys. And you're going to have like also like an inflated sense of self if you just hear people saying good things about you and you hear one person say something bad. You're going to be like, you're not allowed to feel like that because everyone else thinks I'm amazing. Everyone else, for example, dance. Everyone else thinks I'm an amazing dancer. Why don't you? But they don't think you're an amazing dancer. And it's like, it might be like, but do you know what? That's actually something that I always think about, like, because again, you go to auditions and stuff like that and they don't want you. You have to just be like, well, I'm not their cup of tea. You shouldn't leave and be like, I'm shit. You might have those moments, but you need to just be like, oh, okay, I just wasn't for them. And sometimes I even say to myself, you know what? The other 10 girls in the room were better dancers than me. Yeah. That's okay. I just need to get a bit better.
Yeah. We're talking about that, like dancing. You know how my first gig, dancing on stage.
Yes!
To be honest, I'm not even a professional dancer like that. Okay. But what I'm trying to say, the girls who were other girls that was booked, they've been on stages, they've been on like music videos, they've been booked more, and they've literally been dancing for years. And there's someone like me who only just started dancing in 2019 and been booked on stage. And don't get me wrong, the part of me was like, oh fuck, man, I'm gonna look so shit.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, I'm gonna look so shit next to these girls. But in another thought, then I said to myself, actually, the fact this guy booked me, he saw something in me. So fuck what these, because I was thinking, these girls gonna think, why is she even booked? And I thought, no, fuck what they think. The fact I got booked is a win. Okay.
And you're supposed to be there, like even bigger than that, even bigger than the guy, because I see people as instruments. Like they're either instruments to learn hard lessons or instruments to put you closer onto the path that you're supposed to be going on. So that was divine. Like he was used to place you there for a reason. And whether that was just to affirm to you that you are a professional dancer, whether that was just to affirm to you, you know what, anything you want and anything you dream of, it can come your way. You know?
Okay, so talking about dancing now, let's talk about, so you said you're a dancer, you teach dance. So you started some workshop. So these workshops are like dance workshop, but they're not just normal, well, they are dancing, but not just like, okay, come learn a routine, but there's an intention of helping women to embody the sexiness or divine feminine or the essence, all of that. Anyway, I'll let you explain. Why did you start? What is it your goal? Like that?
Thank you, babe. Not me feeling like I'm being interviewed. I said thank you, babe. Do you know what? Again, I think that's very divine. It's so funny when I get like story flashbacks. I see me talking about the seduction archetypes. I'm obsessed. I've been obsessed with seduction archetypes since like 2019 when I first like started reading about them. And it just came naturally. Like I literally saw a note in one of my old iPhones from 2021 where I put the siren concept. And I was assuming that I was planning to do a concept video on like the siren archetype. And it just manifested into a workshop series for me. And I guess my aim is for people to break down the walls of like sexiness and being seductive. And someone who I love is Melissa Barlow.
For those who don't know who she is, she's LA choreographer,
teacher, artiste. Listen,
we've danced with her. We've been to her training.
Yes. Listen, she is so unapologetically herself. She literally, and you'll see the comments, like some comments are a bit negative, like, oh, why do you have your bum out? And why are you doing this? And why are you doing that? She's doing that because that's her. And also let's focus on those turns. Let's focus on that technique, honey. Let's see all of that and how she doesn't put herself into a box. So she's clearly ballet trained, technically trained, all of this stuff. And then yes, she'll give you, you know, booty bouncing, booty shaking. And it's like, yeah, this is me. And people are so judgmental of like what it means to a woman to be sexy and what it means for a woman to be free and just do her. But I also see it as owning your power. I think you can be seductive anywhere. Again, seduction to me is also synonymous with being charmed. So I use seduction at work. We just tone it down a little bit and we're a little bit charming. When you're trying to get someone to do a favor for you, a man or whatever, you're seducing them. Let's be for real. When you're putting on that divine feminine energy, you are seducing them. And actually a few weeks ago I was at a wedding and I was asking my friend's friend to take like photos of us and videos of us. And then like when I handed her the phone, she said to my friend, you know what, with the way she says stuff, you think she's not asking you to do bare stuff, but she really is. Like she's telling me to do 10 million different things, but I don't even clock because of how you're saying it. And again, that's not me thinking, this is how I'm gonna get them to do. It's just very natural. And that's because I practice these things in different ways, like dancing in lingerie in the mirror and making myself feel good. And also all the tough stuff of self-love. So I want to teach women to be able to understand their power, because a lot of women we've been in, or we are still in situations that we don't need to be in. We do have the power. We are the life givers. Guys, sorry, your pom-pom bring life. Why are we in situations where we're being mistreated or being made to feel like we're not magical? And that's in any realm or any area of our life. So I just want people to come, feel free, learn some heels technique, learn, you know, that heels choreo. And it's also really exciting to me that we get to, I guess, explore how multifaceted we are, because not one seduction archetype is the same as the other. So go on, baby.
Explain all the archetypes, seduction archetypes.
Explain all of them.
It's like, just list
off the top of my head.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I could name a few, but also, guys, you know, if you want to come to a workshop, I release them one by one. So, you know, if you know them already, then fair enough.
I've been to one of them, and I loved it. I loved the way you structured it, and it's really me. It's like, because me and you are quite similar. We're spiritual and things like that. And then I love the fact that I don't know if I told you this, but I love the fact you started the workshop with breath work.
Thank you.
And it's something that I love to do as well. It's something it also inspired me to do for my stuff as well. Like because grounding exercise basically. And I love the fact you did the breath work. Because some people are like, oh, can't do that because some people might not be for them, so they might be put off of it. But you still did it because it's, you know, it's your thing. So you did that, and then I love the way you teach.
Thank you.
You're a great teacher. I've done privates with you, and I love it.
Thank you, babes.
Yeah, and you make us feel safe. Okay. I love that, and I love the fact that you created that safe space for us to feel free. Even though I know some people will still be in their head, and be like, "Oh, I'm not getting the routine right." But however, for me anyway, because I used to be like that, I'd be like, oh fuck, I'm not getting it right. But although I did book another private review because I just wanted to master, because I wanted the video, like, because I'm a perfectionist like that. But at the time when I was doing it, I was just in my feels. I felt sexy, and obviously it helps with wearing the outfit as well. Of course. But and
even that's like, it's nice to have an opportunity. Like you can do it at any class though, right? Yeah. But some people might feel a bit nervous going to an open class in, I don't know, stockings and whatever they like. So it's always nice when a class is like, in particularly, they're like, you can come dressed as this, like whatever this means to you. Yeah. And just on the breathwork point, I think like breathwork is something that I do personally at home. And I do believe in like our energy centers, our chakras and everything like that. I do make a point to not mention chakras and stuff because, you know, I really want to be respectful of like, everyone believes in different things, but with breathwork, I think breathwork is universal. Like I'm literally just trying to calm your nervous system down, and I'm trying to get you in the room. Because a lot of the time when we rush to go anywhere, we are sometimes bringing in what we came with, you know what I mean? Or we've rushed to get there. We're not present because we're like, oh my God, I'm 10 minutes late. Yeah. So it's really, really nice to get people to have a moment to be like, all that matters for the next 2 hours is you dancing with your girlies and feeling your best self. So,
and like also dancing, I said it's like someone for those who followed my journey and understand, knows that I said this before, like dancing has helped me with my embracing my sensuality and being comfortable being sexy. Dancing heels, in fact.
In particular,
heels does make you feel a certain type of way. It does empower you. It does make you feel comfortable being more doing all these like touching yourself like that, because like you said, a lot of women are scared or feel like, oh, I'm not being sexy, that's not me. Like that, you know, like that's also my mission, that I want women to understand their power and be free and have the courage to be sexy and have the courage to embrace your sensuality, and understand that you're a goddess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you are. And we get why it can be scary to do that, because society is judgmental. So it's not easy to just tap in and be like, I'm just going to do whatever. Like even for my first workshop, chapter 1 was the siren. And that is very like, go on. I was going to say, what is the siren? She is the male, or whoever you're attracted to, the male fantasy brought to life. So literally every sexual desire that they may have, they see it in a woman that has that siren energy. Like her just looking at the person that she wants or doesn't even want, they're going to be like, I can't breathe. And she's very open with her sexuality. She knows what she wants. She's very bold. I would even say the siren archetype can even be like an alpha female, like, because she's just very assertive, very direct, and she's assertive with her sexual energy. So, and it's just out there. However that means to you, it's just out there. So like for the promo of that, you know, I had the cheeks out, I did one arch, and I was shaking in my boots when I posted it. I said, oh my God. I know some people are going to watch that and be like, is this necessary? And I was like, well, for chapter 1, It is. And I just had to keep, that's what I mean. I had to keep affirming myself and be like, well, this also is a side of you. Us being multifaceted, that's a side of me, you know what I mean? I might not always put it on the internet, but for this purpose, I did decide to put it on the internet. And then like chapter 2, we explored the mystic, which is more like someone who's more within herself, about peace, like similar to what we've been talking about, just like your spiritual journey and knowing how to take control of your life, and then making yourself feel good and loving on yourself encourages everyone around you to want to be better for themselves as well. So people are naturally drawn to you, and that's a completely different energy to what we explored with the siren, but that's still sexy. You know, you meet a woman that's very like about her own spiritual journey and all of that stuff, and she's so tapped in that you want to be tapped in. You're like, who is this person? That's that energy too.
What would you describe yourself? Like
Archetypes?
Yeah.
Do you know what? When I first, because there's a quiz.
Yeah. Oh, these quiz,
Women Love Power, I think. Women Love Power. There's a quiz, and I did the quiz years ago, and I was the ingenue, which I'll explain another time. Or you can look that up. Yeah. But I definitely see why I was that, because I get babied a lot by partners, and I love that for me.
What's it called?
The ingenue.
Ingenue, okay.
Yeah, I get babied a lot by my partners, like, and they also like really, really want to protect me and look after me and love that. But then also they want to rip my clothes off. But then when I did the test again, a couple years ago, maybe like a year ago or so, I was the siren, which makes more sense because I've grown more in myself as a woman, and I'm a lot more dominant and a lot more free with who I am. And if I want something, I'm like, wow, I'm gonna go get it.
I feel like I'm also the siren as well.
Yeah.
But then when I did the quiz, I don't know if it's the same quiz, but I got mother. Is that the same?
Yeah.
Mother. But then it makes sense because I'm very nurturing.
You are. Yeah. She always bringing what? Banana bread to people's homes and what have you.
And I love to cook for people and things like that. Yeah. And so.
But we're multifaceted. That's the thing. And that's what my workshops are about. Like, because I see myself as the mystic too. Like, I would see myself as, I have some mother elements too. Yeah. Like, there's the queen archetype.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
We are a bit of everything, but I think it's like the level.
How much you
have. Yeah.
And at different stages in your life as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're like,
I love that. All right. So should we wrap it up here? Oh, okay. Anything you want to say?
Oh, we just love talking about this.
You love it because here for hours, isn't it?
We could be here for ages because it's just such a web, but that's how complex and beautiful self-love is, and learning about yourself and discovering more about yourself. And again, what you did yesterday is not going to be a restriction on what you could do today.
Yeah.
Like, it's always an opportunity to grow and do better. And it's really, really hard to focus on things outside of yourself. But genuinely, I think focus on you and what's inside. And then you'll be able to radiate all that goodness and all of that love and all of that authenticity outwardly as well. Just trying to be your best self, you know what I mean? Like, no one's perfect. No one is like gonna get everything right, but as long as you're trying, as long as the intention is there and the intention to love yourself and others is there, I think you're on the right track.
And also, you don't need to like by everyone. That's the thing. I think a lot of people are people pleaser. They feel you need to be liked by everyone. No,
you need to let that go.
Yeah, I used to be a people pleaser, and now I was like, I don't give a fuck. If people don't like me, don't like me. That's
I'm still working on that. See, self-love journey.
Yeah, it is a journey. Even I'm still learning a lot. You know, I'm still learning. But yeah. So your workshop is for everyone.
It's for everyone.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you have never danced before, right?
Yes.
If you don't know how to dance in heels, can they come without heels?
Yeah, you could take them heels off.
Yeah. Do they have to dress sexy?
You don't have to dress sexy. Yeah. She's like, you haven't made any of these points. Yeah. No, come as yourself. I always say dress however you feel this archetype resonates with you, and that's how it resonates with you at that time. So if you want to wear some sweats because you're like, you know what, I can still show up as the siren in some sweats, baby, then you go ahead, girl.
Or even though some people think sexy is wearing a long big baggy t-shirt and panties
because they feel sexy in that.
Yeah, exactly. Or whatever. But the reason I'm listing all this because I want women out there to not be because you know there are people like, oh, but I've never danced before. I don't. This looks sick, but I don't want to come. So I'm trying to encourage women to come.
Oh, thank you, baby. Yeah, come through. I've got you. Honestly, like a lot of people are like, this is too scary. And I'm not gonna say it's the easiest thing in the world because my workshops aren't beginner workshops, but I do beginner open classes sometimes. But
also once you start doing it, you will have to use that confidence start to build up, and you will come more and more. Like you have to take the first step to do something, right?
And it's more than just the steps, you know. And I do like my workshop package is very near and dear to my heart because I send out journal prompts and like resources for you to learn about the archetype. And I make a little playlist. I really love music, so I make a little playlist inspired by the archetype as well.
Where can they find you?
Where can y'all find me? Cloud 9.
I was gonna say
in the Aries constellation. Kissy Isla is my personal main dance artist page. So that's KISSYIYLA. And then you can find my workshop page, Seduction, I think it's _, by Kissy Isla.
No worries, it'll be in the description anyway.
It's a new page, guys. Sorry.
When's the next one, or you haven't?
So the next one is going to be like either July, August, but genuinely I go when I feel it, when like an archetype comes to me, I'm like, and then I'm just like, let's
just follow,
go.
And then you see the updates. All right, then. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so cute and scary. See, that's the thing. You should do things you're scared of. The first time this girl asked me to come on, I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. And this is going to go on the internet. And I'm going to stutter all over my words, which I do, but that's okay. Take some risks.
You don't have to be perfect.
Exactly.
Just do it. You know?
Live your best life.
And there's another thing. If you're scared of something, just go do it. And this is why sometimes even I have to like tell myself, you psych yourself up. If you're curious and you're scared, just fucking do it, man. And then that's where where discomfort is where the growth lies.
Amen.
So anyway, thank you so much. Thank you for the listeners and the viewers, and you know the drill. Show us some love, share, comment, all of that. Even if you think if you think yourself have benefit from this, share on your stories, or if you think someone can benefit from this episode, share it as well, please. Thank you. Love you all.